Are you guys ready to meet a rock star member of my signature program, Elevate? I have a confession. As a business owner, I am pretty terrible at collecting and sharing reviews, testimonials, case studies. I mean, a lot of the things that I help my community members, my students with, I'm not always the greatest at doing myself. And this is the nature of the game. This is why you see, basketball coaches who were not the greatest players be incredible coaches. I know at the end of the day that I'm a really great business coach, but that doesn't have to mean that I am, incredible at executing everything I teach. And testimonials, case studies, is an area that I have always kind of dropped the ball. It's never been the number one component to my marketing. And I don't know if that's just because we don't have a system in place or what. But what I'm really excited about today and moving forward is bringing on some of my community members to the podcast. So we can call this a case study if you want, but I don't really see it any different than when I bring on, guest experts to the podcast, because all of my community members inside Elevate are incredible business owners and experts, and really no different than someone that I would love to have on my podcast. But the difference is that we get to speak a little bit to the work that we've done together. I'm very intertwined in their business journey, so I always know what they're working on and what they're struggling with. And I do think that adds an intimate layer to a conversation with someone versus someone that I have not helped in their business, which I just find really fun and interesting and exciting. You guys all know that this is my love language. So today I am so excited to bring on Rocky, who I have known for almost a decade. I was working out in Rocky's garage when I was pregnant with Maddie and postpartum with Maddie. And Maddie is 9 now. That doesn't even feel right to say that she's 9. My middle child is 9 years old. Oh my gosh. So I've known Rocky a really long time, and we kind of reconnected right before Elevate and Inspire 2024. And I invited her to be a guest expert, and like the rest is history. Like we have really become such close friends. I love, love, love being Rocky's business coach. She's very rewarding to work with. She does the work, but she also does it from an incredibly intuitively and spiritually guided place, which is just always fun as a coach because there's so much less resistance to growth, to learning, to being coached, to, the ups and downs that business brings. So let me tell you a little bit about Rocky. She is a soul-led wellness guide, hypnotherapist, Reiki master, and meditation teacher, devoted to helping others return to their true essence. She channels her intuitive gifts into creating sacred spaces for healing, alignment, and inner peace. Through hypnotherapy, energy healing, transformational coaching, guided meditation, and soul journaling, she empowers others to release stress, raise their vibration, and embody their highest self. And when I first reconnected with Rocky a little over a year ago, she was really focused on the meditation and journaling, which was powerful for me as someone who already believes in the power of meditation. I wasn't doing a lot of the journaling, and Rocky really helped me lean into that. And it's been really big in my growth as well. And I love when my relationships, friendship, business, coach to mentor, it doesn't matter. I love when my relationships evolve into this beautiful energy exchange where we're both just constantly helping each other and learning from each other. And that's one of the things that I love most about Rocky. And she's so incredibly humble, and it really does feel like this is just the beginning for her, which is so cool to see because she's always been kind of a powerhouse and a badass. And it really feels like this explosive world-changing energy is just getting started. So let's bring on Rocky. Welcome back to the Messy Success Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Henson. I help creative business owners and artists build communities around your brand so that business is easy and profitable. When you stay in action, yes, I mean even messy action, only good things happen. We are always learning, and when we can get just as excited about the lessons as the results, magic happens. I've helped million-dollar companies with their marketing, but my mission in this world is to help you step into the best possible version of yourself so you can create your dream business too. We believe in community and people over strategies and tactics. Our theme here at the Messy Success Podcast is the 1% adventure, where we're focusing on getting 1% better every single day. I want you to color outside the lines and embrace the messy journey to take daily action towards your goals. If you've noticed a plateau in your business, we've created a very quick quiz where you can find out your next best move. Head over to elizabethhenson.co/next to find out. Now let's get started. All right. Hello, Rocky. I am so excited that you're here. I feel like we've been dreaming up this episode for a while. So I've told everyone a little bit about you, but I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, I am Rocky Fitz Miller. I own Tune Into Wellness, a cute little space here in Virginia Beach, where I do hypnotherapy, meditation, Reiki, and holistic wellness coaching. I try to bring together all these powerful tools that help people truly feel good, but it's more about empowering and teaching people how to use them so that they can heal themselves.
Yes, I love that. Like when we have the tools to do it ourselves. So I told everyone a little bit about how we met so long ago, but what I would love for you to share is a little bit of like that transition from like this fitness space, like you were pretty hardcore, like hardcore
Mhm.
fitness space. You were
Yeah.
always very gentle with us. um, into like what led to meditation and journaling and like opened up this whole, like you did a really big pivot, still in the wellness space, but totally different. Like tell us about that.
Yeah, so I've been in the fitness and wellness industry for over 20 years. And I had my own gym in my garage, and I worked with so many different people, and I loved it. I loved all the different people that came in, men, women, all of them, different ages, kids, teenagers. Like I've worked in, senior citizens. I've worked with so many different people, but there was a common theme. Everyone would come in stressed out. And I was just like,
Mm.
this is like, they'd come in and I'm like, we're not supposed to work out right now. This isn't what you actually really need. Like, your body needs to breathe and relax. And so I guess it just kind of I started to envision something different, like to help people on a much deeper level. And I guess it brought me here.
Oh
So
my
here we are.
gosh. This is so fascinating though, because I now that I've really learned to slow down, I notice it in other people. So I wonder if there's like part of you, you had already mastered this skill of like wellness in general, but what you were seeing in the fitness niche is people in that like go, 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 stressed out energy. Cause I'm so sensitive to that now that I feel like I've healed that part of me. Is that kind of what you were noticing of like, I'm noticing this because I have the ability to slow down?
I don't even actually think I was that slow then, like, cause I was pretty hardcore myself, and honestly, I think it was me kind of hitting my, like, rock bottom point
Ooh.
that I had to start to do it for myself, but then I saw my personal transformation and how powerful it was for me because I really genuinely slowed down and I dedicated not much time, like 10 minutes a day. Some days I'd have a little bit more, some days I'd have less of just like being with myself and in my thoughts and my feelings and my breath. And it was it was so transforming for me that it felt like a crime to keep it to myself.
Mm. So in the beginning, it's like they were almost mirroring what you were seeing in yourself of this like kind of rushed or stressed mentality.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where I was. Like I was when my kids were, middle schoolish age, I would say, and approaching high school. And like that was their busy time. Like they both had like activities. They were both playing travel sports. I'm trying to like train, but like it was like early mornings, evenings, weekends, and it was just I was going in 80 different directions. I was making time for myself to work out, but it wasn't like I wasn't giving myself the space to actually just breathe and be. It was just kind of like a collection of everybody's stuff all together, and just not like that moment of like kind of peace, right? And when I finally found that peace and that relaxation and that quiet, I realized how much I really, really needed it. And then I knew so many people needed it as well.
Yeah. Was there like a moment or a first time that you experienced the slowdown? Like, is there a moment that you felt like was changing or like a pivotal moment?
Yeah. So I had actually left the fitness space for a little while, and I was a loan officer. And I did that for like a year or so. And at the moment, it was exactly what I needed, to be more present with my family because I was feeling that pull of my girls going into high school and almost out of the house and just really needing to be there for all their stuff. But really, when I deep dove into myself with that meditation after my, like, kind of my rock bottom moment, right? Um, I lost my job, and not to my own accord. And it was kind of one of those moments where I was not happy. I was really pissed off, like, if I'm being honest here. And everybody but I knew I needed to respect those feelings, and it's so many times we try to, like, push these feelings down, and people are like, "You can't be mad, Rocky. You can't be mad, Rocky." And I'm like, "No, actually, I can be mad." And I am. I gave myself 3 days just to be really pissed. And I know, like, ifs, ands, or buts. And then after those 3 days, I'm like, "Okay, now it's time to collect our shit and get ourselves together." And it was in those moments that I recognized that I really did. I gave myself that space to grieve the job, grieve the loss, figure out what the hell was next for me because I didn't know. I knew I was going to help people. I knew I was already starting to teach meditation. Um, and I just didn't know exactly how I was supposed to show up for people and to help them on that deep level. But I trusted that it was going to unfold, and it definitely unfolded, and I'm so grateful for it.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Just like that, it's like an openness to be able to receive what's next rather than like forcing a certain outcome.
Yeah, yeah, and I just
Yeah.
I just trusted that I knew it was gonna show up, and I let it be, and I just let it come. And I mean, yeah, I had some moments of anger throughout, and I probably, if I really sat with it, I might still have a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Um, but honestly, I know that's part of my story,
Yeah.
and I know that, that shift and that change and that anger was why I am so passionate about helping people because I saw that I allowed myself that space. And so I did. I created my space so people could come in and be sad, mad, pissed, angry, and have that space just to feel those emotions and then figure out how to let them go.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we do tend to bottle them up or put them in a little box.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're talking in the Reiki sense, when I see it energetically, people like to shove them down in their legs, like, it's just like, "Ah, we'll deal with that shit later." I'm like,
Oh
"I'm gonna
my
take
God.
that out for you." Right?
Shove it down my pants. That's so
Yeah,
funny.
exactly.
I'm like, oh, maybe that's where the knee pain's coming from.
Very well could be.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about the last year. One of the reasons I wanted to do this episode with you is because I feel like since Elevate and Inspire last year, you were one of our featured experts, and then you were a featured expert again this year. But the transformation and not just your business, but like who you are as a person, we've said a couple of times between you and I'm like, you were, if you're a 10 out of 10 now, you were like a 7 out of 10, and you were like, "No, that was my 10. It's just that my 10 has gotten higher." Tell us, like, what do you think has changed in the last year, or what led to some of this, like, true expansion, which I know at one moment, I'm like, I don't even know if you really realized it, but, like, everyone was like, "Rocky is, like, literally expanding." It's so cool.
I mean, maybe I knew it, but maybe I wasn't totally aware of it. Last year at Elevate and Inspire, I mean, I came in there just to be the expert, just to lead meditation. Like, I actually had no expectations of it, and I didn't know what I was doing or what I was getting into. But I showed up because I loved you and I wanted to support you, and I was excited, and I love in person stuff. And I mean, when I walked into the room that first day, it was the energy was insane, and I was like, "What the hell is going on here?" Right? Um, and it was contagious, right? And I'm in this room with these incredible women that were running these really successful businesses. And I was like, wow, I mean, maybe I could be that person, right? I was very happy, in my garage training people and being busy enough is what I called it. And just kind of, going through my days, helping people as I can, casual. But then, I get into this room and I see this like possibility of like really helping, you know,
Mm,
a lot more people. And it shifted. But I think the biggest shift was at that mastermind
mm.
on the last day. And um, I got cracked open, right? I cried and was really emotional. And I could get emotional now because
Yeah.
that's who I am, right? Um, but I had Jeff and Adriana, both of them were just like such calming presence for me. And
Mm,
they were so cool. And it was just like, but we went around the room and everybody was just like, they kind of, I mean, they didn't kind of, they did inspire, but they really put into that thing just to allow and flow.
mm.
And then you reiterated it too. And then you gave me the one book, when I joined Elevate, and I read that book and I felt that book, and then I put myself into that flow, and I allowed, and I just wanted it just to whatever happened, happen. And I literally every day would just sit there. Anytime I was trying to control something,
Mm.
I would close my eyes and just see myself on a river just flowing and
Yeah.
just like drifting down like lazy river kind of effect, and there's my family on the side. There's everybody I love. They're all there. They're all watching me flow and just float and allow. And me giving up that control, that's probably where I
Oh, that's so beautiful too. And like, but you are mixing that with action. Like it's not like,
oh yeah,
I love we take the woo and like we allow and we surrender, but it's almost like we match that with intentional action and not forceful action.
yeah,
It's like what do people need from me today? What can I do to show up for my highest good and the highest good of others rather than, oh my God, I got to do this thing to get this result. Like it's a totally different energy.
right, right, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, it, and honestly, I wasn't even sure what my steps were, but I knew that I needed to take the step,
Yeah.
and I think I said it this year at Elevate and Inspire after one of the visualizations and journal, and I wrote down that we need to take those steps even if we don't even see the staircase. Like just trust that
Mm,
there is a staircase, right there for us. And if we just, reach out and take that step, we're going to land it. We're going to land the step and we're going to know where we are when we hit that step. So it has been a lot of taking steps without really knowing where I was walking or
yeah,
climbing,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And I love that you kind of talked about before the event, because here I'm like, this is an observation I just made as we're talking, but it's almost like Rocky before Elevate and Inspire. It's like you were in your bubble, in your garage, you're helping people, you're leading people. But I feel like what you were missing is surrounding yourself with other people who were kind of on this same path of expansion, of helping people. You almost needed, you were leading so many people and helping so many people, but you kind of needed examples of people who could lead you and expand you. And when you walked into this room, it's like suddenly there was an abundance of energy and community of people that not necessarily ahead or behind, but they're on that same like frequency that's now like pulling you in at a higher frequency, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, it's like I walked in there and then there was like the possibility, it was
Yeah.
like, oh, like, I didn't even like have have the concept of it,
Yeah.
and so I mean, I came in there very like maybe naive and innocent. I don't even know what to call it. And I was just there and I was a sponge and I was just taking it all in and I had no idea what to do with it,
But
but
I
I
love
just knew I
that because
needed
like
to move, right?
it's such a good example of, like, someone who's in my life, because I know we all have people in our life like this that, like, they know us and they love us and they appreciate us, but they don't actually have any clue what we do for a living, right? Like, there's probably people in your world that have no idea, like, what
Yeah.
Reiki is or how you actually help people, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, they're immersed in it, It's
Yeah.
like, God, there's, like, this whole world. 'Cause, like, it's different than social media, You and I have a presence on social media, but when you actually, like, walk your body into our world, it's like this whole can of worms gets opened, and
Yeah.
I just that's so cool because you knew me before, but you didn't have any clue that this was, like, what was going on behind the curtain.
No, I mean, I know when we met for lunch before that event, when you'd asked me to be a part of that first Elevate and Inspire, I knew it was going to be something big. Like I could just
Yeah.
feel that. And I still didn't grasp the concept for me either,
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't grasp it, but I was just like, dude, she is gonna do some really, really cool stuff. And I was so honored and excited to be a part of whatever you had up your sleeve. Like I was just like, I'm here. Like, let's
Oh my
go.
gosh. Well, and this was even when we had lunch, I didn't really know you had all these, like, intuitive, psychic gifts, whatever we wanna call them, and I just remember you looking at me and you were like, "You're gonna make a lot of money at this event." And I was kind of like, "What?" Like, like, that moment, I was just trying to survive all the payments to, like, make the event happen, and I was like I'm like, "Sure, Rocky." I'm over here like, "Can I please just break even?" And I'm like, "Dang if you weren't right, though."
Yeah, I mean, and I honestly, I don't think I knew it was like an intuitive download at that point. Like I was just
Right.
saying it, like I could feel that in your energy, and that was pretty cool. So,
So crazy. I love, like, reflecting on those little moments. Okay, so last year, when you were an expert, you were doing I don't wanna say just meditation and journaling, because let's, like, not downplay how awesome meditation and journaling is, but I do think that was almost like your gateway drug into, like, everything that you're doing now with, like, the Reiki and the hypnosis. So tell us a little bit about how just the meditation journaling, like, how that unlocked all these kinda next steps for you.
so I mean, I use that meditation and journaling just to kind of get me out of that ugly pit that I was in. But when I was doing it, I was trying not to force what I was writing, feeling, understanding, anything like that. So, and I've in my journaling, I got the tune into wellness. I got my business name and I really didn't even understand what the heck that meant. I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what this is. Like, I was still a loan officer at the time. Like, I'm like, I don't
Mm.
really like, here it is. But I trusted it. I trusted that that's what it was. And so I continued to meditate and to journal and tune in to my body, to my guides, to whoever is sitting here shooting me some messages, and just got my downloads and got my messages and understood a lot more about what was going to happen and how things were going to play out. And a lot of my messaging was just to trust. Like,
Yeah.
they were there supporting me, and things were going to happen, and just to be patient. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just be patient. I got to listen to this because I don't know who's writing this, because like the things I would write, like half the time I was writing meditations and I didn't even know what the heck was happening because I wasn't leading meditations the first time I wrote a meditation, you know? And
Hmm.
since then, a lot of what has happened, I feel has definitely been divinely led, divinely, happened. Like my office space, I wasn't not looking for an office space. Like, I'm just like, okay, it found me and it's perfect, right? And so it's just like one thing after another. And I think it's because I trust what I feel, and I
Hmm.
trust when I like slow down and really connect with myself, that I know what's right and what's not right for me.
I love that.
Keeping that connection, I think, is really, really important. And if people don't have that connection, I think it's so important for people to get that, because you understand a lot more about who you really are, at the soul level and purpose
Hmm.
level and everything.
Yeah. So the journaling is literally what led you to the Reiki and the hypnosis. It came just in a like download of like, this
Yeah.
is what's next.
Yeah. So I actually trained in Reiki 14 years ago, but I just did it for myself, for
Yeah.
personal like use, because it just enhanced my meditations, right? Um, but then in my meditations, it said it was time to do energy work, and I didn't really understand that, but I was like, oh, okay, let's go ahead and do this. And so I went to the lady that I did Reiki, went and had Reiki done to me. And I walked in the one day and she's like, so when are you going to work on your psychic abilities? And I'm like, wait, what? It was one of those things. And I was like, oh, no, no. Like, nope. I think we got some paths crossed, like not me, kind of one of those things. And it was like
Yeah.
stutter step. And maybe I still don't fully embrace those, and I still might be stutter stepping just because, I feel like it's a lot of responsibility when you open yourself up to that. So I kind of like the little bits I get, the downloads when I really tune into people's energy. I don't necessarily want to predict the future. I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's not for me.
I
um,
do
but
think you found a superpower in the Reiki, though. It's like there's something about you that really lights up and feels really, connected and authentic anytime you talk about it. Obviously, when you do Reiki, when you teach other people Reiki, I think you've definitely found like a definite like little piece of your dharma or like magic there.
oh yeah, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it feels so good, and to deliver the messages that I can to people when I really tune into their energy. Like, when I tune into their energy, like, I'm genuinely understanding who they are, like who deeply they are, but then I'm also understanding what they need, whether it's
Mm,
to heal, to feel peaceful, to, find their purpose. Like, their bodies tell me what they need. And so, um, learning that I could do that, that was by accident. I wasn't, I wasn't trying to do it, but it happened. And I mean, I knew I had to keep doing it, right?
yeah.
Because I knew that was just a gift that I was given, and I am not the selfish person to keep that one for myself. Like, I want to give that to people. I want them to know that. And as I'm training people in Reiki, I'm teaching them to do the same thing. I'm teaching them how to tune into people's energy and be able to deliver them messages and gifts. And it's been really cool to watch some of the people that I've trained. They're actually probably better at it than I am. So I'm like, score one for the good guys, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so it's definitely been an honor, and it always is an honor anytime somebody allows me to step into their energy and make that connection for them.
Yeah. So over this last year, we've talked about like, how you've expanded as a person, your services, the way you're helping people. But like your business has actually grown too. Like I remember when we had our first meeting and we talked to, or even at the mastermind last year, we talked about your revenue goals. And, I remember even as your coach being like, she's going to have a hard time hitting this revenue goal with just kind of trading time for money. Cause I mean, Reiki is wonderful and beautiful, but it's like, massage therapy or, anything else where essentially you're trading your time for money.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like, gosh, she's going to be really busy. And the month right before Elevate and Inspire, you hit your revenue goal despite, and I don't want to say that I questioned it. I never questioned whether you could hit it. I just knew trading your time for money. I'm like, okay, well, she's going to get there and she's going to learn how busy she has to be. But it didn't even seem like you were that busy. Can you just speak to like what kind of had to happen in the 3D or what fell? You're following your intuition, you're doing all the next action steps, and the reward, the money followed. Is
Yeah.
there anything you want to share and like how you did that? Because it was pretty freaking magical.
How I did it, I think I allowed myself to, honestly,
Mm,
because I mean, I know in January I said I wanted to, just make my rent goal, just make my rent goal. And then when I calculated at the end of the month and I made 33 cents more than my rent goal, I was like, seriously, like I was like, if I am this good at this, I'm no, we're going. Now we're
yeah.
going to that 5,000. Like I want that and it's gonna happen. And that was mid-February I decided that. So I'm like, March is my month. And I don't even know how I did it. Like I think I just allowed it to happen. And I
Yeah.
allowed and I don't feel like I was trading time for money. Like I
Yeah.
felt like it felt so good having so many people come into my door, but then to watch them like float out, right? Because they felt so much lighter and they like they healed, like they allowed themselves to let me in to show them how to heal themselves. And I thought that was really cool. And it did not feel like I was that. So
Yeah. Well, and I think what you just said is magic because you were like January you set a goal and it was almost like a low like a low safe goal.
totally.
And then you were like, "Wait a second. I said what I wanted and the universe gave me exactly that plus 33 cents. So what if I actually say what I really want?"
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, and then when we expand the house or we expand, our bucket or whatever you want to call it and call in a different number,
Yeah.
that's what happened.
And it did, and it happened. So I'm just like, well, shit, I'm powerful. All right, let's roll.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? It's like I know people listening are going to be like, "But I don't understand." Or like, "Give me the step-by-step process." And sometimes when these changes happen within us, that's what manifests the reality in the 3D. And
Right.
sometimes there is no step by step. I mean, you did the actions, you were posting on social, you're doing the emails, you're doing I mean, you were doing all the actions. Like that was
Right.
all there. But people can do the actions and not get the result. People can get the result and not do the same actions. Like it kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, you need all of it.
Yeah.
You need to have that belief and that allowance, right? And I think it's really important too, um, like trusting yourself and doing the healing too. Like I have done a lot of work on myself, on my personal like things that were holding me back, right? And
Mm.
um, I'm doing hypnotherapy on people, but I'm having other people do it on me. and removing the blocks and removing those doubts, so that I can expand and I can allow myself to expand, because sometimes we want to hold ourselves like in this like little cage, but it's giving us the permission to step out of the cage and, let things happen for you, not to you, but for you. And
Yes,
that's
everything is
really,
for us.
yeah. And so that's exactly what I feel like I did. And it took a year
Yeah.
or really longer. Cause I mean, it's not like I haven't been in business for a long time, but it was just
Yeah.
really allowing myself to do really good things and lead with service, and I think that's really important for people running a business, is that it's a service and you're there to serve other people and to serve something bigger than us. And when we are looking at it in the aspect of helping others and being of service, no matter what we're doing in business, that is where magic happens.
And that's why you're successful, because when you say that, people believe you, right? Like a lot of people talk the talk, but when someone literally is here on the planet to help people, and that's what the money is, literally just an exchange of energy in that way. Like people, whether they know it or not, they can sense the difference, and I feel like that's what separates people that have the really expansive growth from those that don't. I mean, and a year is a long time, but it's also really fast. If you look at what you've done in the last year, it seems so quick.
It does feel quick, especially when I've had so much life, like real life happening outside of my business, that I'm just like, I've been in my office now for 6 months, and I'm just like, in 6 months, like, holy
Yeah.
smokes. But like, I think about like, I've had this, like what I say as a newborn baby as my, this business, right? And it's not sleeping through the night yet either, just so we're, so we're really clear.
Mine doesn't either. That's such a funny metaphor. I love
It
it.
does not sleep through the night, but that's okay.
That is so great. That's
We
so
know how
great.
to take naps. um, but like, my life, like outside of this business, has been full throttle, right? And so, and I tell so many people too when they come into Reiki, like, it's like when I see them, sometimes I see like the eyeballs on the back of the head. I'm like, your body needs you to single task. Or what did
Mm.
Jeff call it at the elevated? Monotask. And when he
Monotasking,
said that,
yeah.
monotasking is what he said. And I love that. I was like, that is going to be a word. So quoted by Jeff McCoy.
Yep, School of Jeff.
School of Jeff. But I see so many people, we're trying, like, as moms, as business owners, as, people that are like trying to get shit done, we are trying to multitask. We're trying to do all these things when really our bodies need us to do one at a
Mm.
time, to be fully present in what we're engaging with. And when we're fully present, that's where magic happens, even if it is sitting there with our child, sitting there with our spouse, sitting there with our business, sitting there with our client, fully present with them,
Mhm.
fully present. And as somebody that has attention issues, like, that's hard to do sometimes for me. I'm like, oh, nope, nope, come back, like, here we
Yeah.
are. Um, but when we can really practice and train ourselves to be fully present in one item at a time, it doesn't feel as stressful or as hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that's like takes us back to like we can sense when people are rushing. And when I'm doing it to myself, I mean, one small thing I noticed a big difference was like if I don't take my phone when I walk the dog. Like,
Mhm.
I'm because I'm like walking and talking and then I gotta pick up poop and I'm boxing and I'm doing all the things. And it takes so much enjoyment out of the simple fact that I'm walking my dog,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
and getting fresh air and, in
Yeah.
nature, right? And,
Yeah.
like, I actually forgot mine this morning when I was walking my dog, and I was like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
It's kinda
happy. I was like,
nice.
"Look, I got to smell some flowers," like, literally sat there and, like, smelled the jasmine, which smelled amazing this morning, but it's like, you take those moments, like, you look at the clouds in the sky, like, "Look, they're so pretty," or, and it's those things, it's those little moments that so many people take for granted, but that's actually the magic. Like
Yeah.
that's the magic is when you can sit there and just look at the clouds. Look at how pretty
And
they
that's
are.
when those next steps reveal themselves, is because
Oh,
you were able to get quiet and allow, not force. Like that's my demise, is every time I go to meditate, I'm like, what's the download today? Right. But like, there isn't always a download. Sometimes we
there's
just
not
have to have
always.
the silence.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the truth is not forcing the downloads, because I know there's so many times I'm like, okay, what's my next step? Come on, give it to me, like, and, but it's when I just like, just kind of show up and just kind of allow, like, is there going to be a download today? Oh, not today. Okay, cool. Thank you. Just,
Yep.
I put some gratitude down and then we're done. Okay. And it is that allowance. It's the flow. It's,
Yeah.
just letting it be whatever it needs to be in that moment. But when I do get the downloads,
Yeah.
right? That's
Oh
that's
my
the
God.
magic. It is the
And
magic. So,
I feel like just watching you, I mean, I really feel like you're just getting started. What
oh, hmm, yeah,
feels possible? So if we look at the last 12 months and how epic this has been for you and to witness as someone in your life, like what do you think is possible in the next year? Like what feels possible?
oh gosh, that's a great question. I don't know. Like I think that's where I have to sit with and do I think it's going to be big and expansive? Yeah, I do. Like I think my 10 of 10's going up, for
Yeah.
sure. And I actually had Adriana reach out and ask how he's doing after the thing, and I was like, honestly, I'm not even there yet. Like I haven't even pulled back any of the layers, right? And
Yeah.
but when um I think there's going to be some magic that happens. And I just hope that I can, really help the people that are willing to take those steps to heal themselves. It's not easy. What I do and what people come in and have to handle and heal and deal with, it's hard and it's hard work, and I try to, soften the edges as much as I can, and give them that ability to have that space to breathe so that they can heal themselves. So I don't know. I can't really answer your question fully, I realize. And but I think it's gonna be big. I do. Like
Yeah.
I feel that and it has come up in my journaling that
Yeah.
I am just getting started. It said you are just getting started. And I said, all right.
Isn't that a cool feeling though? Like, we're in our 40s and we can have this feeling of certainty that like some really great stuff is just getting started. It's just building.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is. And I'm almost an empty nester. Like my girls are
Yeah.
almost totally gone. And I needed something for me. I needed my babies, because I don't have
Yeah.
my babies, right? And so this has become my baby, right? But it's these people that are coming in that need me, just like my girls needed me when I was little. And I don't know where it's going to go, but I know that I am building a community of women that just need that space, that want to come and welcome in others and allow that space for them too. So we don't have to go through life feeling by ourselves, feeling isolated, because we go through so many things in life where we're isolated, right? And
Yeah.
we don't have to be. I feel like that's a choice that each of us make. We choose to be alone.
Mhm. Mhm.
And because we don't realize that there are those people that um, are here for them, and I
Yeah.
want my space to be that place where you feel like you can come in and just be.
Yeah. Slow down. There's so much magic in the slow down. It's almost like the more the world speeds up, it's like the more we have to practice and be aware of how magical it is to slow down, cuz the world ain't slowing down. We have to hit that control button.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And it is. And it's in our control and people don't realize that.
Yeah.
And it's not until they really slow down and see the magic of the slowdown that they realize they actually have that control.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. That's like one of the best things, like just in hindsight with what I've learned and how I've evolved is like just literally getting away from that like too busy mentality, right? It's like now I feel like I have an abundance of time and I can do whatever I want and nothing on the outside has changed. It's just my relationship with time, my relationship with what I choose to do with my time has changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mm.
good.
That's powerful.
Okay, well, I love you, and this has just been so incredible to watch your growth, to be part of it. Tell everyone where they can find you and how they can connect with you.
So I am on social media. So my website, though, you can find me there is tune in to wellness, tune in with the number two wellness.com. And then I'm also tuned in with the number two wellness on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. So if you're typing that in, you'll find me that way.
Easy to find. We'll put everything in the show notes as well. And was it last month you had your first like sold out girls' night out? I mean, we were like wall to wall.
Did
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Oh my
and
gosh.
I'm expecting next week to be the same.
Oh my
So
gosh. So if you're local, make sure you sign up for Rocky's Girls Night Out. It's one of my favorite nights of the month. And when it sold out, she was like, I guess I could do two a month.
if I have to do two a month, I mean, I would be happy because it is literally my most favorite, night of the month. And I like, even when I've had three people show up, I just leave just, feeling magical and it's so good. And, now that I'm getting them where they are filling up and selling out, like it just,
And I
I,
do feel like that was a big kind of like catapult, like part of your tumbleweed in the very beginning was doing these girls' night outs. And you've stayed consistent with them. I mean, for
yeah.
over a year because I started
Hmm.
going,
Oh, yeah.
before my event. And
I've
I
been
just feel like that's been a really big like pillar piece of your community building and like the local stuff that you've done.
Yeah, I've been doing them for like a year and a half, and I was so like I knew this was like the best night of the month. I knew it, and I believed it, and I just stuck with it. Even like I said, there were three people that showed up some of the months, and I'm like, whatever, this makes
Yeah.
me happy. And my husband kept pushing me too. He's like, if this is what you love, then who cares? Keep doing it,
Keep doing it.
And now it's becoming other people's favorite night of the month,
Yes.
and it's because I knew it was going to be great, and I knew that it
Yeah.
would catch on, and I stayed the course.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, thank you so much for making time to do this. Just really appreciate it and it was really fun to just look back on the last 12 months.
Yeah, thank you for having me and letting me share.
Yes. Okay, you guys listening, make sure you go hit up Rocky on Instagram and all the places. All right. We will put all of Rocky's information in the show notes. This is episode 188. So you can go to elizabethhenson.co/E188. And I'm going to make sure that you have her journal prompts, her Facebook community, Instagram, all that good stuff. And we will be sure that you can uh, find everything that you need. And you know that she's on Instagram at tunein2 wellness. And make sure you go say hi. Let her know if you listen to this episode. And we will see you guys next week on the Messy Success Podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to send us a review or share this episode with a friend. It would truly mean the world to us. And I love you all for being here.